Let me talk to you about ALEC. That's the American Legislative Exchange Council, of course, and they're in a world of trouble. They've lost 12 different companies, including recently Taco Bell apparently dropped out. Their parent company did, and Blue Cross Blue Shield. Huh, it's a big company. So ALEC's in trouble, and since they're losing all these different companies and they're backpedaling, they've said we're not going to do stand your ground laws anymore. Their Public Safety and Elections Task Force that also was doing the noxious voter ID laws to disenfranchise minorities that has been around for 30 years. They've had it for 30 years. They've shut it down. Well, since they're in that kind of trouble, they're calling in the cavalry. They are asking right-wing bloggers to come to their defense. ALEC Director of External Relations, Caitlin Korb, apparently went out and talked to all these bloggers, about a dozen of them. By the way, it was organized by the Heritage Foundation, carried by Breitbart, and she is formerly of the Cato Foundation, and she's now with ALEC. ALEC, Cato, Heritage, all funded by the Koch brothers. So here comes the funny part. She says that, you know what, our opposition has been so effective in showing what we're doing. I mean, misinterpreting our actions, like, for example, they say that they're for transparency, but they're not at all. They've been in hiding for about 35 years, and they hate this press coverage that they're getting. They didn't want the press coverage in the first place. They hand these bills to the legislators, and they don't want them admitting that they got it directly from ALEC. Sometimes they screw up and literally forget to take ALEC's name off the legislation. It's embarrassing, so they don't want any of that. They hate transparency in government. They're the kings of crony capitalism. That's what they push for. They push to buy these corrupt politicians so they'll do whatever they get paid to do by these corporations that are in ALEC. So when she talks about how it's going online for them, she has this awesome quote. "We're getting absolutely killed in social media venues. Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. In other words, I'm hurt, dog. Man, turns out nobody likes us." She continues to say, "So any and all new media support you guys can provide would be so helpful, not just to us, but to average people who don't know much about this fight, but are seeing us get really heavily attacked with very little opposition." Now, Caitlin, let me ask you a question. Did you ever consider that perhaps you have no support online because you have no American people behind you? Like, yes, you've got those robots in the corporations that fund you, but do you think there's grassroots people who are like, hey, how can we help corporate America sell more guns? How can we help corporate America make sure that less African Americans vote? Yes! There isn't any real groundswell for you guys. That's why you're getting killed on Facebook, Twitter, etc. Because you're opposed to actual human beings, actual American citizens. There's a lot of them, and there's not very much of you. Your main advantage is that you have a ton of money. So, but don't go crying about how nobody supports you, because that's your point. Your point is to, you know, make sure that you circumvent democracy, make sure that people's voices aren't heard. I mean, look at the voter ID laws you were pushing. That's literally what you were doing. To try to make sure that 25% of African Americans, 16% of Latinos who don't have photo identification but who are American citizens with the right to vote are not allowed to vote. And in fact, your founder gave a speech, Paul Weyrich, where he said, I don't want more people voting, I want less people voting, because that way Republicans win. And then you go cry yourself a river about, oh, not a lot of people support us. Yeah, of course, because you hate democracy. You've been trying to kill it all along. So she complained that these Twitter handles were doing really well. ALEC exposed and dump ALEC. Of course, hashtag ALEC exposed and hashtag dump ALEC. So by all means, go forward. Use those hashtags and keep kicking their ass.